Hello, 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 everyone. Thank you for joining me today. Let me speak to everybody. Hello, Stat. Hello, Bambi, Nikki, Miss Doreen, Pandy. Let me see. Did I miss anybody? Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining me tonight. Hey, Kathy. How you doing? Thank you, everyone, for joining me tonight. We will be talking about Nick Gordon. He was the ex-fiance of Bobby Christina. He passed away yesterday at the age of 30. And we will be discussing his passing as well as the effects of drug usage and as well as grief. I will be dropping the link in the chat, so if anybody wants to join me tonight, you can do so at that time. Like I said, we are discussing Nick Gordon, and I thank you for joining me tonight. Nick Gordon, he is the ex-fiance of Bobby Christina. He is also to Whitney Houston's. She called him her godson, and she took him in at the age of 12 years old. And we know that Whitney Houston passed away, as well as Bobby Christina. He had been taking Bobby Christina's death very hard. And so back in, let me get my notes together because I do not want to misquote anything. And I apologize. Back in 2016, he was sued by the estate of Bobby Christina for her death. And so, okay, I got my notes. Okay, so nearly 5 years after Whitney Houston's daughter's passing, Nick Gordon has passed away. Gordon's attorney says in a deposition that he gave yesterday that, he is sad to report the passing of Nick Gordon. And that back in 2015, Bobby Christina, she was found face down in the bathtub, and he did find her in the bathtub. Nick was not charged in the death of Bobby Christina, but he was found guilty in a civil lawsuit and was ordered to pay the estate of Bobby Christina $36 million. He was on the Dr. Phil show. His family did everything that they could do to try to shake and try to get him help because he was dealing with this, and evidently his drug usage was an ongoing thing. And so I am dropping the link to StreamYard, so if anybody wants to join me, I not only want to focus in on Mr. Gordon's passing, but I also too want to focus in on drug usage as well as grief, because both plays hand in hand. And so, I do want to talk on that. And, despite all the incredible challenges he faced over the few years, Nick's attorney said that he did work hard to try to stay clean, but he just was not able to. So I apologize. I'm getting myself together. I'm getting my notes together. But yes, so I have dropped the link to StreamYards if anybody wanted to join me, and so we can discuss this conversation more in depth. Drug usage is very, very, depending on, the drug, is very hard to kick. And so, oh, oh, well, hello.
Hey here, hey here.
Hey. Hey,
What
Derek.
what it
Hey,
do, woman?
Paige. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, I hear you good.
Okay. Hi. Well, thank you for joining me.
Yes, ma'am.
We are talking about Nick Gordon, and also too, as well as drug usage on the community.
Okay, well, I'll defer to Paige Turner, ladies first.
Paige, um, I see her.
Yeah,
Okay,
I saw her for a second too, and then she just dropped off.
okay, yeah.
Yeah, but
So,
did she come back?
no, not yet.
Okay, well, I'm not gonna stay on too long. I just
Okay.
give you a little quick, I just give you a little quick my take. I kind of look at it as a case of bad karma. You can't prove whether or not he had anything to do with Bobby Christina's death, but it's just ironic that he died the same way. And yes,
Mm-hmm.
drugs destroy lives, man. And a lot of people don't want to hear this because, unfortunately, this is a time where you have a young man who is only 30. His parents got to bury him. I can't imagine. My daughter, 15. I can't imagine having to bury my child. But the fact is, the hard fact of the matter is, drugs destroy lives. He know it. He already had pedigree. He already had pedigree for the fact that Whitney Houston had died, and then the young lady died ahead of him, and who else? You name it. DJ Screw. It's so many people that you can name that have died from drugs, and it's kind of like a loaded thing right now. Like if you really taking your life in your hand when you be banging with these bad drugs, it's just not a good mix. And depression is rampant in the black community. Got all that, understand all that, but the
Mm-hmm.
fact is that once you put your hand, once you touch that pipe, once you put that needle in your arm, once you pop that pill, it's a hell of a thing. But at the same time, again, I don't know if that boy had anything to do with it, so I would be wrong for me to say. But the court of public opinion is a hell of a thing too, and I think a lot of folks think that is kind of karma in reverse for this boy, because if he didn't do it, he knows something about it. So that's what I would say to that.
Yeah, I don't think he had anything directly to do with that because she was grieving, and by her being exposed to drugs since a very, very early age, I think that as long as grieving her mother's passing had something to play in part in it. Now, could he probably have pulled her out of the bathtub sooner? Hindsight 2020, that's a story that we'll never know. But I think that he did help enable her in her drug usage, but she also too learned and saw drugs being used very heavily
Mhm.
with her parents.
Yes, ma'am. Hmm. Yeah, I mean, I would, again, like I said, I really didn't know about the Nick Gordon dude until Bobby Christina died. So that show you how much I know about him. But
Hmm.
again, just based off the fact that he was around at the time that the girl had drowned, could he have done something to pull out? No, we never will know. But
Hmm.
if that's my better half, if that's my girlfriend, that's my wife, anything like that, I can't see it. I can't see not unless I'm out the country or at work or something like that. But it's just a hell of a thing. But it's just unfortunate that once again, yeah, that's the boy that just came to mind, Mac Miller. He died of a drug overdose. The Juice World boy, drug overdose, and now that
Mm-hmm.
all these young people are, all these '80s babies, basically, all of them under 30, and it's just, um, and you would think, I'm working from paycheck to paycheck, but here it is, they got the whole world in their hand, and they still depressed. So that just go to show you about you can't be too poor and you can't be too rich. Either you got to find a balance somewhere because you would think that Nick Gordon, you got the best of everything, boy. But look, Juice World, Mac, all y'all, you got what working folks is seeking, and you still ain't happy. And so you find your solace in the pill. You know,
Mm-hmm.
something to think about. That's all.
Yep, that is something to think about. Thank you so much for joining me, Derek, and offering your input. Thank you, Bambi and Paige Turner.
Yeah,
Hello,
salute to
Shin,
y'all.
and everyone that I have missed coming into the chat. We are discussing Nick Gordon, the ex boyfriend of Bobby Christina. He has passed away at the age of 30 from an apparent drug overdosage. So, Paige and Bambi, is there anything that y'all would like to add? Hello, B Charmer.
Yeah, I would like to add that it's more prevalent than not these days that these young kids are strung out on drugs. It's not even taboo anymore. Just working in the hospital alone and working with peoples who deal with addiction. Um, Man, they come in there, you don't even have a clue. We can't even test what they have in their system because they have mixed up so much stuff and stuff that just is undetectable. So they go into psychosis and we can't treat them because we don't know what they have in their system.
Mm.
And I'm talking about they are out there like gone, and some of them don't return. They don't return, and they have what you call a happy party
Mm-hmm.
where they go in their parents' medicine cabinets and they throw all of these pills and all of this stuff in a cup, in a bowl like this, mix them all up and just pick up a handful of pills.
Mm.
So it's very sad and it's very scary with this whole YOLO generation. You only live once, and the rap industry encouraging the behavior, encouraging the drug addiction, wanting to pop, wanting to be that person that um oh Paige said you could call her because we couldn't hear her.
Okay. Okay.
Um, Wanting to pop, wanting to be that next person that music is, what's hitting. So that type of pressures too on these young kids to be that next it person. That next it person. So it's very real. As far as him, as far as I don't know the deets of that situation. All I know is they believe that he had something to do with it. But both of them came from money. Both of them came from a family that was surrounded with drugs and addictions. And believe it or not, addictions, pretty much the behavior behind addictions is almost like it's an hereditary thing,
It is. It
as
is.
if you inherit that addictive spirit, because it is a spirit, because
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't have to be drugs or alcohol that we are addicted to. And I found that out for my own self when I tried to go on a weight loss journey and realized I'm addicted to food.
Yep. Yep.
Food was controlling
Mm-hmm.
me.
Mm-hmm.
It
And
was controlling
mm-hmm.
everything I do, like my mood, everything. I was being controlled by food.
Yep. And I find myself being an emotional eater. Anytime I get stressed or things are not just going right, I find myself turning to food. And so I had to learn other ways to, deal with stressors than turning to food. And then the party that you speak about with the kids taking all the pills from the medicine cabinet and pouring it into a bag is called a rainbow party.
Mm-hmm.
And it's where they take all the pills from their parents, grandparents, or whomever medicine cabinet, pour it into a big old bowl, and they just consume the pills.
Mm.
And
Ray
if
Carr said teenagers take their parents' meds or grandparents not even knowing what they are doing. That is so correct. Welcome, the merchants. Thank you for joining us. Be charming. Anybody that I have missed coming into the chat, please charge it to my head and not my heart. And welcome. We are discussing Nick Gordon as well as the drug usage. Hello, Slim Teddy. Paige,
Hey,
I see her
Candy,
on here.
we
Yeah,
can
can y'all
hear
hear
you.
me?
Yes,
yeah.
ma'am.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I want to say first and foremost, this topic isn't directed to anyone who is struggling or suffering through an addictive issue at this
Right.
time. This is for informative purposes only, um, and it's not to bash anyone who's actually going through an addictive issue right now.
Exactly, exactly. And I'm
I
going to
live,
put a disclaimer in the chat.
I live in a county in Maryland where we are like the number one heroin addiction area in Maryland. Um, I also work as an addictions nurse, and I've done that for like 6 years. So I see a wide variety of patients. I've lost a lot of patients, young and old, related to overdose. Right now, what we see
Mm-hmm.
is the fentanyl crisis. I just want to give a little education. You have morphine and you have fentanyl. Morphine is what the drug dealers was using to cut the heroin, the cocaine, the marijuana, what have you. That's what they were using before. However, fentanyl is 100,000 times stronger than morphine. So 1 gram of morphine is worth like 0.001 grams of fentanyl. So what's happening is these people are mixing it the same way they were mixing fentanyl and the same way they were mixing morphine, and you put a drug out on the street, and there's a lot of people that's dying. They putting fentanyl in more drugs than you assume. Like they had marijuana that has fentanyl. They have cocaine with fentanyl. All the drugs that you can buy on the street, um, a lot of times contain fentanyl, and you have patients that swear up and down, I can admit to snorting coke fentanyl. I can admit to smoking weed, but I don't use fentanyl. And at one point, it's just sad because you have so many people that's dying from this stuff. And most of the time, you have people that come to a treatment center and they feel bad, they feel guilty that they're there.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to comfort them, and be a human. I said, we all suffer from something.
Mm-hmm.
Just because I suffer from something and hide from it doesn't mean I'm any better than you. I said, I'm fat. And I said, so clearly I like food. I like food a little more than what I can admit. I'm a shopaholic. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
My own business. Judge people that are on drugs just because we can see their issue and I can hide mine. You understand what I'm saying?
Yep.
Right.
It's
Yeah, my weight,
true. That's so true.
my weight, my little extra roll or what have you that I can put a weight trainer on and suck that baby in real good if you buy a good one. I can do that, but at the end of the day, I'm still running to the bathroom to unzip it a little bit so I can eat. You know,
Mm-hmm.
that doesn't mean I'm any better than the person that is running to the bathroom to sniff a little coke or running to the bathroom to get another drink. So we have to stop and look at what's going on, the underlying issue. And before any patient of mine starts to detoxify and try to go out on their own, my advice to them is to say, have you figured out what your trigger is?
Mm-hmm.
And if you figured out what your trigger is, now the question for you is what is your effective coping mechanism that you're going to use
Mm-hmm.
to
Mm-hmm.
prevent yourself from reverting back? So, yes, you have families, like you have the generational families that's on welfare. You'll have the generational families that are alcoholics. You'll have the generation, because that's what they thought the norm is. And when I took sociology, because I was able to provide food for my kids every night, and because I was able to hit the light switch in my house and actually get light, because I was able to do those things, I don't understand with somebody who can't do that. What would trigger somebody to go out here and rob somebody? I don't understand that because my needs are met.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And
So,
growing up, I saw, growing up in the 80s, I saw the effects of drugs. I saw someone get shot as I was getting ready to get on the school bus because of, the big drug epidemic that was out. So, so I saw the
and
effects.
I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say I grew up in a time in the inner city of Baltimore where it was nothing for people to fight. Even if you got banked and beat up, you survived to fight another day.
Mm-hmm.
It's very disappointing in me for towns as small as Baltimore. We have over 300 plus murders a year. A year. Just a couple weeks ago, they went into a beauty salon and killed a hairstylist while she was doing hair.
Wow.
Damn.
Now, my question is, this is a young girl. Where did she get money to open the salon? Was it dirty
Mm-hmm.
money? Who else is
Mm-hmm.
connected? Who were they trying to really get to? Because back when I was growing up, the guys had a little moral. You had guys that wouldn't sell drugs to pregnant women. You had guys that wouldn't sell drugs to old people. They felt bad, you know. But things changed in Baltimore. I would say around 2003 or 4. I think it's like 2003 or 4, where a woman who just wanted people not to hang on her front steps. and sold drugs in the city. They firebombed that woman's house and killed
Wow.
her and 8 of her kids. One survived because she was at a grandparent's house. But can you imagine they also killed a father because he put a fence up in his yard to keep the
Yep.
drug dealers from selling drugs behind the house. You
Mm-hmm.
know, when did the drug epidemic create such vile people? I don't know. You know, I don't
But
know.
that's the thing. It's an underlying issue. It's self-medication from what's the underlying issue is
Yep.
of trauma, of um sexual abuse, verbal abuse, physical abuse, mental abuse, any type of abuse. That's the underlying issue of self-medication. Um and I can only imagine that this is what was happening with these young kids having all this money, not knowing how to deal with life, not knowing how to manage the money. Look at the parents. Whitney and Bobby didn't know how to manage their money.
Yep.
They did not know how to manage their money. So if they didn't know how to manage their monies, how can they teach these young kids who have everything, like Derek was saying? They have monies, but they still have yet to find ways to cope with depression, stress, the pressures of life, as we all do. And so they
Mm-hmm.
turn to drugs to what they would call numb that situation, cease the pain. Primpin said that in my live earlier about how it used to be crack and then they demonized crack and now they pretty much sell, you know, drugs to us through opiates,
Mm-hmm.
through
Well,
pills now.
Mm-hmm.
well, if I could just jump in right quick, I will piggyback on both ladies.
Mm-hmm.
For Paige Turner, we just had our 356th murder here in Philadelphia. We've already got up to four in 2 days in 2000 and 2020. But what it is a lot of times is that I, I think we should never let the pharmaceutical companies off the hook because
Mm-hmm.
you can't get the drugs unless they're prescribed. It's one thing if you go in a pharmacy and steal them, but
Mm-hmm.
more often than not, these big time people like a Juice World or whatever, they got resources that we ain't got, and the medical is always been my thing is that. I was reading that America, we only I think like 7% of the world's population, but most of the drugs we consume, we're the most medicated country on earth.
Mm-hmm.
So much so that pharmaceutical drugs are found in fish and in our rivers and streams. It's everywhere. We just drowning in drugs. And so you figure people that's disadvantaged, which a lot of our people are,
Mm-hmm.
they take to the streets. That kind of back up with when Paige Turner was saying how the woman just walked, well, the person just walked in and killed or firebombed the house because they want territory, because folks want drugs, because the attitude is if they ain't gonna buy them from me, they'll buy them from you. But I need this block, so let me go get this block. And
Yep.
so you have all this stuff
Yep.
right here. Like what Paige Turner was saying here with regards to Baltimore. I'm just up the street from her on 95 in Philadelphia, and we have a section here called Kensington, and I call it the Valley of Zombies. When you get to Kensington and Allegheny, you know you're in a zombie area. People are walking around dazed. You see needles. You see these little packets. This is all on the block right there, Kensington and Allegheny. They
Mm-hmm.
had a. I'm not on Facebook, so I'm just going off what I heard. But during the summertime, two Philadelphia police were caught what they call here in Philadelphia leaning. They was strung out on something. They were
Mm-hmm.
standing upright, but they was nodded over. So even the police is ain't nobody but the law. So you got all this stuff in play. You got so much people that have been hurt in our country. You got so many people that are desperate. You got people that's unemployed. They don't see a way out. The drugs
Mm-hmm.
is that escape for 2 or 3 hours, but you don't remember what you did within them 2 or 3 hours. You may have
Mm-hmm.
killed somebody, robbed somebody. all this stuff. So, and I don't know if we're gonna ever right the ship. I don't know what we're gonna do about this problem. And it seems like as the generations move along, the worse they get. So that I'm going back again to Miss Page Turner, because they did have morals. I was here in Philadelphia in the 80s, and it wasn't like that. They didn't sell to pregnant women or women. They didn't shoot up the block. If you got shot, it was because you had this stuff coming. Well, now
Mhm.
these young kids, they just don't get down like that no
They
more.
don't care.
They just don't. They just
Exactly,
don't.
exactly. And let me piggyback off the CDC from 1999 to
Yes, ma'am.
2017, more than 702,000 people have died from a drug overdose. In
There you go.
2017, more than 70,000 people died. 60% of those deaths involve prescription or opiate overdosage.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's
And
bad. It's I'm sorry. Go ahead.
yeah, real quick, I just want to throw this out. Candy and the ladies on the panel. Did you know that online they have what's called forgive me for cutting it up, but it's called a iatrogenetic death clock. In other words, they have a death clock, and they chronicle everyone that has died in this country due to medical intervention. And one of the categories, if you, I think you can, it's on the internet. It's called Pharma Death Clock, and you can pull that up for yourself. And they got a running tally of everybody that died from cancer, from medical mistakes, because I'm in the medical field as well. And they
Me
also
too.
got a little category under there called death by pharmaceuticals. And
Wow.
it's a, and so that line up right with what you're saying, Candy. So it's a website that you can go to right now. It's called Pharma Death Clock, and they got every category. And so we just in a tight. We just in a tight.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And this right here, this conversation just only touches the surface. It just brings awareness about, how drugs, is effective, affecting everybody, affecting the community and affecting different people. And I urge anyone that is struggling with any type of addiction, please seek out medical help, and that this conversation does not replace the advice of a medical professional.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, Candy and the ladies, I'm gonna go on here, step aside. I'm gonna go here, get me a bite to eat. But if I'm gonna have you run. But if you
Okay.
still back on, I'll come and put my comments in the comment section where I feel applicable.
Okay.
Miss Bambi, pleasure. Miss Page Turner, you take care of yourself down there in Baltimore. Candy, I'm still right here. I got you. All right.
Okay. Thank you so much, Derek. If y'all have not subscribed to Derek, please go and join him. He has a wealth of information, and you know what? It's always Gemini season.
Yes, ma'am. All day, every day. Look, y'all take care.
All right. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Thank you, Derek, for joining us. Hello.
Yeah, I'm
Hey,
still here.
Candy,
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
still here.
Yeah.
Okay,
So.
so
Mhm.
another thing that I wanted to talk about is the fact that when you look at the war in Iraq, everybody want to say, "Oh, this was about oil. It was about getting oil. It was about gas prices. It was about this." However, in 1999, gas prices for regular unleaded was 90 some cents. I remember that time when they
Mhm.
invaded Iraq. Gas was under $1. I had a full expedition and I could fill this whole thing up for $26 from empty. And that was a what 26-gallon tank or something like that, 26, 27-gallon tank.
Mhm.
Um, what happened when they invaded Iraq, Afghanistan? That's the only place in the world where opium grows naturally. If you research it, The opium fields in Iraq and Afghanistan are protected by military troops. During this time, I went to a doctor. I suffer from excruciating menstrual cramps.
Mhm.
I went to ask for some Motrin, which is an anti-inflammatory. Thank God I was educated. Anti-inflammatory. Anti-inflammatories is what decreases the muscle swelling from, your uterus sloughing off that blood every month. Plus, it helps with the aches.
Mhm.
Tylenol is actually pain medicine. Opiates alter the receptor in your brain and how you perceive pain.
Mhm.
That's why a Percocet is 5, 10, 25, 325. The
Mhm.
325 represents the Tylenol. The 5, the 10, or the 20, what have you, represent. Is it oxycodone? I think it is. And the two medications together create Percocet. When someone has pain, Tylenol is the pain medicine. So basically, they're getting 325 milligrams of Tylenol. The feeling that the person is looking for is the opiate cause because pharmacists are educated. Everything that you take into your body already has chemical receptors in your body, which heightens or decreases those feelings. So when the person is on drugs and they feel hyper and happy, it contracts into your what is it? Epinephrine and norepinephrine receptors. And so that's why people feel the euphoric feeling. Oh, when I take this drug, when I do a mushroom, when I do this, I feel this way. I feel so light. I feel airy. I can fly.
Mhm.
It's hitting into your dopamine. Thanks,
Mhm.
baby girl. I love you. That's why you smart. You my daughter. But if my daughter corrected me, she said, "Mom, that's the dopamine." So give it up to the college kid. But
Thank you,
anyway,
daughter.
I love my baby. um, it plays into those receptors, and you release those same chemical reactions. Have you ever had a delicious burger? I mean,
Mhm.
come on now. I'm talking about the one that's mouth watering and juicy. I ain't talking to y'all pescatarians, Bambi, and y'all non-meat
Hey.
lovers, non-vegan. I'm talking about your senses before you stop eating meat. You've had that burger, or
Yeah.
you've had that sexual partner that releases that chemical endorphin in your brain, and you feel like you can't live or go without them.
And I
That's
had
the
that too.
drug. That's the drug.
Mhm.
You know, that's that. Oh, I can't live without him. Oh, I
Mhm.
can't live without her. He hit that bottom. Oh, he complete me. You know what I'm saying? That's that chemical reaction. And I'm sorry. You just can't get enough. And I can't talk bad about somebody when I know what the hell that feeling feel like. You want to feel like that forever. When you in love for somebody, you want to feel in love all the time. The most
Mhm.
addictive drug on earth is love. Because everybody want to feel that. Everybody want to know what love feel like. Everybody want to feel wanted. Everybody want to feel love. So, um, it is what it is.
Yeah, because I
But
mean, just like Race Car said, you know, It is that buzz, it is that high, it's that instant gratification that you want to feel. And once you get that feeling, you want to continue to feel that feeling.
Respect for that, you know.
And
Yeah, you want to keep it.
and then once that feeling wears off, then you want to find something else to replace that feeling. And then that's where, where sometimes
But
a
go
person may start off small and then they
Korean.
gradually increase because they want to keep chasing that feeling that they had. Not only drugs, sex, food, you name it. Once you had that feeling that made you feel good for that instant moment, that took away from whatever you was feeling,
Your mama
you
ate
want
my
to
first
keep
batch.
continuing to feel that same feeling.
Oh yeah.
You want to keep
A Bambi.
that same feeling up. And and I could truly understand that because I don't know if y'all have Five Guys in your area, but I love their burgers. And I had to pull away from them because they have the best burgers. And that was my go-to spot whenever I have had a stressful day at work. I would go straight to Five Guys, grab me a burger, sit in the parking lot and eat it before I go home.
Kandy. I'ma tell you, it's a food truck here called Chow Hand. It comes across the street from my job every Wednesday. I had some burger. Oh my gosh. That thing was the best. That was the best burger of life. I swear it was. No, I'm still on here. Can you hear me,
I
Kandy?
think I think as Collins want the link.
Okay, I'm dropping it, S. Collins.
And you know what? Sometimes we have ineffective coping skills. Going back to what Nikki said. Um, you know how a person has what is it, schizophrenia, and now they're trying to say schizophrenia isn't real.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a true diagnosis. That's what they're trying to say. You work in medical billing and coding,
Yep.
so you know about all the changes that's coming along. And schizophrenia is a disorder now that they're trying to say
Yeah.
doesn't exist.
Mm-hmm.
However, when people go through a maximum amount of trauma, PTSD,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes you can't deal with it. Sometimes when you lay down at night, your brain directly goes to your trauma, your pain, your hurt, child molestation, physical abuse, sexual assault, um, seeing your father get killed, seeing your mom get killed, seeing your mother get beat on. Those things are traumatic. And yeah, some people want to feel numb. Mr. Wise, that is true. But how can we teach self love when we haven't experienced love, period? When the black family is so broken to the point where you have mothers who hate their children, you have fathers who are absent, you have mothers who are absent for whatever reason because I fault you for looking like your daddy, and I fault you for looking like his sister or whomever you don't like that's on that particular side of the family. You know, I was blessed in the fact that when my father passed away and I was a little girl, his side of the family stepped up and was like, "Yep, you gonna know me." And I mean, I'm really close to my father's side of the family more than my mother. And that was all because they stepped up. However, it's not all the relationships with all the siblings, because you have people in the black family who still mad at their brother because you broke the wheel on my big wheel when I was 5 years old. I like that green machine. It's a multi-dimensional issue in the black family. We got a lot of things, but we can't teach our kids how to love self until we understand what love is. A lot of people assume love is what Disney says. A lot of people,
That's
I Riri, I understand, and that's very true. But I can only speak. I'm black, so at the end of the day, that's really the only race I worry about because my children are black. However, if I had biracial children or biracial grandkids one day, then I would worry about the issues in that community. But right now, my community is broken. So no other community can come before mine. And that's just my thought process. And we have the little squeegee boys, is what they call it. Kandy been on the phone with me when I'm driving past, and the little boy, she can hear him. Hey, hey, you want your window wash? Hey, hey,
mm-hmm.
hey, hey.
Mm-hmm.
And I stop, and I'm really starting to look for a kid that I took in my brain as my son because I haven't seen him in about a month, and it's been some nice warm days here in Baltimore. And I wanted to give him a piece of change because I felt it on my heart, for Christmas, just to say, I appreciate you, you know. And I haven't seen him. So I'm kind of worried because Baltimore does have those murder numbers, and I'm praying that he's okay. And I'll be glad when I finally see him because I haven't seen that little boy, and God knows, since early December. And his friends been here, so I don't know whether or not he in the system or what. But I love, hey, content, but I love that little kid because he's so respectful. And if I have it on me, I give him $1, and he was like, "That's my girl, that's my girl, that's my lady right there. She always nice." But I haven't seen that little boy, and I'm so sad. I was looking for him today because it was nice outside, and I just haven't seen him. So I'm praying that he's okay.
Yeah, because I think you shared a story with me about the boys who washed the windows, and now I believe they have their own water company or something like that. Their own water bottle company or
I
whatever
sure
it is.
did. They took they took the money that they earned on the corner wiping windows, and they turned it into a water company. Three little black boys that tried to wash windows. They really did turn that into a business. So we can't discount our children just because they weren't given the same hand that we're trying to give our children, or somebody else was given that opportunity that these children didn't have. We don't know what they struggle with. Some of us, we lose $5 and our whole brain is gone. These children have uh, real issues. Their mother might be on drugs, their father might be absent. They might be doing it because they don't have anything to eat. We
I mean,
don't know the purpose.
if we can stick to the topic at hand, it's not even just about, because I see Mr. Wise, he can't come on here, but he had a lot to say that we can't box it into just poor people. We can't box it into just sexual abuse or traumas or things of that sort. Um, it is a very real thing with these kids as far as the drug epidemic is concerned, and just how it's overtaken, and where the older generations had to deal with crack, they have these pills that are accessible to them,
Mm-hmm.
and they're being prescribed them. You get a back injury, or
Cancer.
uh, you get a knee replacement, or you get some type of surgery or something. That's the first thing. I had a toothache and they prescribed me hydrocodone. Let me tell you how bad it is. They didn't even realize I had a toothache. They prescribed me hydrocodone. They gave me the hydrocodone, plus they gave me an antibiotic, right? They told me
Mm-hmm.
to go and take it before they can even do anything with the tooth.
Mm-hmm.
I did all of that. When I returned, when I came back from the because the tooth was still bothering me, they didn't even pay attention that they gave me another script for hydrocodone. So now I have two scripts. Can you imagine a person who suffers from an addiction? They're giving two scripts of hydrocodone. Now, luckily, I'm not a person who like medication. I don't like to medicate. I don't, as far as pills and stuff like that. That's not my issue. But the fact that they just so loosely and freely gave me two scripts for hydrocodone. And now, because they're trying to crack down on it, on these doctors, because there is a big thing where um people are dying, and overdoses are happening with drugs and pills and stuff. Now they're cracking down on the doctors, but before that, they was just giving those scripts. Those people will get 30-day supply and would be
Mm-hmm.
back in the hospital with no pills, no medication.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, mukbang,
Hey, my bang.
with no pills, no medication. And so they had to put these stipulations and put these new laws in place to be like, hey, no, you should not be out of pills. You
Mm-hmm.
should not be out of pills uh in a 30-day time frame so quick. It's only been 7 days, 8 days. It's
Yep.
very real.
Yep. It
It's
is.
very
But
real.
what? And what's really sad is when you care for a person that's 80 years old and you put your 80-year-old mother into a facility and your mama is now at 80 years old fighting a drug addiction.
Damn, I'm looking
Because
at this comment Derek said.
I
Go
got
ahead,
I don't
Paige.
know.
remember I
Sorry.
said they offered me Percocet for
I'm
menstrual
at
cramps,
3,
and I came there
recovery
for
for my
Motrin.
wisdom teeth. Elective surgery for 4 wisdom teeth removed. Oh, wow.
Yes, but what he basically saying is, after he got down to those pills, he could feel himself feeling a form of being addicted to that codeine and that Tylenol already. Just from the weeks of him taking it, he felt the symptoms of what an addict feel, and that's
Mm-hmm.
the thing. You can't just, because people think, oh, they could just stop it. It's the symptoms are worse when they
The withdrawal
when
is
they
worse
try to
than
withdraw from
actually.
them.
Yeah, yeah,
So they're
because
better off. It's almost like, which it is, that their body have become so immune to it that it feeds for it, and it's hard to get off. It's hard to stop it, and they have the withdrawals. They get the fevers, they get the chills, they get the sweats, they get all of those things. So it's almost like I
The
better take
nausea, the
this pill.
vomiting.
I better take this pill, because if I don't, I could possibly die just from me not taking it.
yep.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Because I mean, I know whenever I had my knee surgery, you know, the hydrocodone that they gave me for my knee, you know, I kept on popping the pills because I liked the way that the medication made me feel. It made me feel relaxed and calm, and and more like like in a dream like state.
Mm-hmm.
And I had got used to that feeling.
Right. Even if the pain didn't subside, it was just that on a
That
type
euphoric.
feeling that right. Derek said no pain, no feeling, no nothing. But that nothing felt like heaven. And that's the feeling
And
that
see,
you were getting.
I'm the opposite. When I get those narcotics, I get definitely sick. I had a major surgery, and before the doctor even gave me the pain medicine, I was knocked out just from the Ativan. I can remember
Mm-hmm.
being hooked up to the machine, the IVs, and the doctor was explaining the equipment in the operation room. And I can remember the nurse anesthetist coming over to my IV, and I felt something cold. And I looked at the doctor and I said, "What did she give me?" And I passed out. I was out. And Monday morning, because I had my surgery on a Friday, Monday morning I called and asked her for an extra prescription of Motrin because I wasn't going to take the narcotics she prescribed. I said, "I don't like the way it makes me feel." And she laughed. She said, "You are the first person that ever went out before we actually gave pain medicine." And the people in the room laughed because I went out so quickly. I said, "I just don't like how it makes me feel. I feel sick. I feel nauseated. It's the worst feeling in my life. I'd rather deal with whatever pain I'm going through than feel that nausea feeling that I get when I take that strong medicine."
And
But like,
and the
remember,
crazy
rem,
go ahead.
babe, remember earlier you were talking about the pharmaceutical companies. I'm not letting them off either, because
Mm-hmm.
remember earlier we were discussing the doctors and them prescribing you a
Mm-hmm.
medication that's more symptoms than the
Mm-hmm.
medicine is treated for. Like, I love watching commercials that advertise this new medicine, and at the very end, the lady comes in, may cause death, but being on this, and they'll have somebody floating in the field with some flowers and all this and looking all happy. But lady, didn't you just say I might die from taking this medicine? But
Yeah,
I'm
Mm-hmm.
supposed to take it.
exactly. Exactly.
But here's the kicker, where I said the pharmaceutical companies are the cause in your primary care doctor and whoever prescribes you medication. So, say for instance, I'm a pharmaceutical rep. And I say, okay, Bambi has a doctor's office. Kandy has a doctor's office. Kandy,
Um,
you got 3, 4 kids in school.
Mm-hmm.
You got about 3 or 4 offices and about 100 people on your staff. Bambi, you have about 3, 4 offices, 2 kids in school. You live in $1 million home. I'm a pharmaceutical rep, and I'm going to come to you. I'm going to say, Bambi, I had this groundbreaking. I'm going to present the same case to both of you all. I had this groundbreaking medication that treats all diabetics. This medicine will lower A1C, and the patient has to do little to change their diet and exercise plan. Here is a 90-day supply for all your patients that are diabetics. So you say, "Oh, that sounds cool." And if you prescribe this medication to the patient, I will give you an $800,000 check upfront if you push my product. And you're like, "Okay, no harm in that." You give the patients the free sample. They're on 90 days, and all of your patients 100% A1C has decreased tremendously. And some of them did some life changing things, but 80% didn't. 20% is your norm that may change, 80% are the non-compliance, but they all took the medication. You get $800,000. The patient now is in love with this medicine because my A1C is low. Okay.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
now the 90-day trial period is over. So now I don't have any more samples to give you. So now I got to go on my prescription pad and write you this prescription for this medication. So I go write the prescription. You take it to your local pharmacy. Medication rejected and denied. So now you have the people that's choosing to eat or choosing to live. So it's a big issue in the pharmaceutical and your medical care provider who get these patients on these medications. I had a patient who was on Procardia. That's for your heart. When I was a pharmacy tech. At this time, I felt so bad for this person because they were living for 14 days at a time because the medication for that particular pill it wasn't covered at the time for her insurance, but at that particular time it was no generic because you know the generics are covered, the trade names aren't.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
So this woman needed this medicine for her heart condition that was working perfectly once on this medication. However, if she was off it, she was almost near death. So this person was living literally 2 weeks at a time. And every time I went to ring them up for their medication, it broke my heart because she would say, I only have enough to get me until Friday. I'll see what I can come up with Friday. So can you imagine how you would feel somebody that you look at like a grandparent because you love seeing their face all the time and they were so sweet and their personality made you feel like she just smelled like cookies and
Mhm.
you just want to love on her, because she was just so cute and sweet. Imagine that heartbreak that you feel as a person that knows she might not be able to afford this medicine by Friday and might not be alive by the next Friday.
What? Well, I'm looking at this comment Derek left.
Mhm. One can
Oh, OMG.
we still got 45 years in jail. It's called the
That
credit.
is horrible.
Can Derek come back on and speak to that?
I think he was going out to dinner. I'm not sure. I mean, I'll drop the link back in and see if he's able to come to speak to that. I know with the healthcare organization that I work for, they call it I believe it's called the Sunshine Act, where we are the physicians are no longer able to accept gifts and kickbacks and things like that and dinners
Mm-hmm.
from the pharmaceutical reps. We don't even take they don't even take samples anymore
Mm-hmm.
because of that.
The
And
same for the hospital I work at.
mhm. Yeah, and it's called the anti-kickback statute.
Yeah. The
And,
CEO of our hospital got fired for that.
hmm and it restricts the pharmaceutical companies from offering and paying directly and indirectly any monies or any form of payments, food or whatever. And that was due to Medicare and Champ VA helping to enact that statute.
But that's exactly what the issue is, Candy. It's a big problem, and I'm telling you, opiate crisis didn't become a problem until the soccer moms became affected by the epidemic.
Mm-hmm.
And we want to say it's not about poor, it's not about this or that. It wasn't until your doctor's wives who were stealing prescription pads, or their kids who were stealing prescription pads, became addicted to these opiates, and then they had to run to the city because heroin is cheap to buy and it's a cheaper high, even though they had the money. But opiate addiction was not a problem. Like the crack epidemic is not a
Mhm.
problem until it hits certain socio-economical statuses
Yep.
and it's
Mm-hmm.
other populations. We want to say it doesn't matter the socio-economic status and the race. Yes, it does. In this country, yes, it does.
Mm-hmm.
So
We do.
never be blind to that. Pay attention to issues. HIV wasn't considered a crisis until it started affecting white males that was heterosexual. It didn't start being considered a crisis with the drugs until it started hitting upscale communities, at least communities in which we thought was upscale. So those we got to look at a multifaceted issue um, with things when we talk about these issues. You
Mm-hmm.
know, it's not
Yep.
just
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
just not one way.
Yeah.
It's just
Because
not one way.
mm-hmm. It does not affect just one community. It affects all communities and all people, no
I
matter.
was shocked. I was shocked to find out just how many African Americans were addicted to heroin. I didn't know that until I started working for in healthcare, and I was like, "Whoa!" Because you would just think, you would just think, oh, they just do weed or crack or something like that. They addicted to heroin, like shooting up, literally, and more so now addicted to pills. Addicted to
Mm-hmm.
pills. You have grandma have this knee pain and she had, double knee surgery and they done gave her all of these pain pills. And older people, they don't like taking pain pills. So you have this around, and for them to get that high, they taking the pills. So
Mm-hmm.
I was shocked to even know that. I was like, whoa, wow. Until I got into to healthcare, that I realized that
Yeah.
it's more in our communities than not. It's more in
Mm-hmm.
our community than not. The same as mental illness. Like we just that's your crazy cousin. That's just my crazy auntie. That's just my and then mental illness doesn't get chin checked like that.
Yeah, exactly. Because just like we had spoke of like a few lives back, we always just swept it under the rug. Let's pray about everything. Let's
Mm-hmm.
pray about the drug usage. Let's pray about the mental illness. Let's pray about this. Let's pray about that. Versus seeking help for that thing.
Mm-hmm.
Just want to pray about it and sweep it under the rug, or leave, the uncle with, they call him touch here in the South. And, leave him in the room because, he kind of touched in the head
Mm-hmm.
instead of dealing with whatever the issue is, and that includes drugs and things like that. No, uncle is not
Yeah.
just touch; he has a problem.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
But it's so sad. It really is. And like I was saying, with these young kids, and I'm not talking about, oh, they're almost 18. I'm talking about you have 12 and 13-year-olds that are completely strung out on drugs.
Mm-hmm.
Strung out. And like have
But
literally. Hmm?
all right, go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Bambi. Finish.
No,
12, 13.
I was just saying how they are literally strung out on drugs and pills and all types of things. And when we're trying to treat them, we have no way of treating them because they have taken
Exactly.
so much and they go into a psychosis that we can't. So we just have to wait till they come down off the high if they return,
If they
if they
return,
come back.
if they return, because the body is so, if they don't kill the brain.
Yep.
Because think about this. And I blame parents, I blame hip hop, I blame the whole culture, because you have a culture of artists who talk about turning up. Oh, we about to turn up. And how
Or drinking
rap
lean.
was supposed to be, how was rap supposed to be the voice of the community? When rap first came out, you had self destruction. They actually were doing things with a purpose and with a cause. You had more hip hop artists rapping about social issues, bringing awareness.
Mm.
KRS-One, you had your um public enemies. You had, your conscious type people who were actually trying to make a change in the community. And now you have a host when of artists that want to sing about drug use. You
Mm-hmm.
know, you you don't. I didn't know until I was at work. Remember that song by The Weeknd, and it used to say, "I can't feel my face when I'm with you, but I love it." Do you know what that song is about?
If you're not
That
careful,
song is about sniffing cocaine.
mhm.
Yep.
If
And
you're
see,
not
That
careful,
song is about drug use.
celebrities, yeah, because celebrities have made getting high and drinking lean and doing all kind of drugs as something cool. And so the kids see it as, okay, well, you know what, my favorite artist is doing this, or he's drinking this, and then let them turn around and pass away. It is almost like a badge of honor.
Drinking syrup. You got the songs about sipping syrup. You got the
mhm,
songs about mask on, mask off, Molly Percocet. You
mhm.
celebrating these things where the kids are out here killing their brain before the prefrontal cortex even develops. And that's not finished growing until after 21 years old.
Yep.
So
And
me
then that's
turning
it.
up,
That's it. That's
and
the
the
thing.
prefrontal cortex is what develops the actual rational part of your brain that gets you to think rationally. So if I destroy that development, come on now,
Mm-hmm.
we just
But it is. But
it's
that goes back to them a nicer way to dress up how they can get drugs into the streets, whereas you used to have them being able to just sell it and be on the corners and all of that stuff. It's being sold through the industry, through the music, through it's enticing. It's it draws them in, it lures them in. How do I get that feeling? How do I get that what they call zooted? How do I get that zooted feel where I feel like I'm out of space. I'm not in touch with reality. I'm not in touch, and they really aren't in touch and in tune with reality. If you see these kids when they are on these drugs and they are so out of space where it's crazy. I know you saw it, Paige. I know you've witnessed it because you work with those who suffer from addictions and could possibly deal with psychosis that fell in the lines of them using drugs.
Mm-hmm.
And they are so out of reach with reality. They think they're Jesus. They think they can walk through walls, all kind of stuff. It gives them that feeling. I'm thinking, when they get discharged, why do they return to it? This stuff almost killed them.
Mm-hmm.
And then you'll have them
because,
admit it again.
but you know what is a very true sentiment is that the patients that I talked to, they said when you initially get high, That's the highest you will ever get. Your very first
Mhm.
hit.
Yep.
After that, you are chasing your high. So
Yep.
I'm chasing how I felt that very first time. And that's so true.
Mhm.
That's so true.
It is.
You
It
know,
is.
um, it's so many factors, and we have to do a better job being discreet in front of our children. I
Hey, my
can
sheep.
say I'm very cautious about drinking alcohol and all of those other things in front of my kids. I might have a glass of wine with dinner, but a lot of the things that I would indulge in, that if I was gone away on vacation with a group of girls or gone away with my husband, I wouldn't indulge on in front of my kids.
Mhm.
So back to protecting our children and not saying, oh, I'd rather them do this at home than to go around the corner and do it.
Yeah.
How about I'd rather them not do it at all? We've developed into this population of people where my child is my best friend. And I'm sorry, you have some type of responsibility for teaching
But I have to
children
disagree
respect.
with you, Paige, because that's not the story of every case. Because you even have Race Car in the chat speaking to how she found out her 17-year-old son was addicted to drugs. So it's like,
And like I said, I'm never saying all the time. These are a lot of the cases. A lot of the cases where children go awry is either one, they are rebelling against structure because the people they are around don't have structure and they believe it to be freedom, and then later on in life they come back to where they came from. But I know for a fact, you know, that even when you rebel, because your kids are going to rebel at some point, and no situation is perfect. However, like I said, you gotta be the one to start breaking some of these generational curses. If my mother was an alcoholic, my father was an alcoholic, at some point you have to say, I refuse to be an alcoholic. It's a lot of people who grew up in the inner city, who grew up with a drug addicted mother, who grew up with an absentee father, who looked at their self and said, I'm better than what they are. I'm better than what they taught me. And then there's the opposite. You have kids, and I know young guys that I grew up with who were only children, who wore the best clothes, who was spoiled, had a lot of jewelry, had money without even working. But what did they do? They went and sold drugs, and now their life is belonging to the Baltimore City Detention Center. Why? I gave up my life, but my parents were doing everything they could. Ask yourself how many in the prison because of that fact. I'm not saying that it's always parent saying, I see it with my own times. These kids are going home to a parent that won't even say they love them, parent that won't even give a hug. They going home to a parent that won't even open up their school textbook to see what you had for homework tonight. Or they going home to a parent that's more worried about chasing the bag and getting her ego on than she is about being a mother. And I'm not saying the men
Casey.
get off easy. I'm just saying this is a true problem in our community that's causing a lot of stuff. And I'm not judging. I try not to on a lot of things because that's not my struggle. That's not where my issues are. And I know a lot of people look at me like I'm being judgmental, because of what I'm saying. But I'm also that same person talk to a child that I feel needs a hug, and I'll say, "How you doing today, son?" And I'll be the mother to that child. The kids in my old neighborhood, they knew if I was cooking, if Paige Turner was in my kitchen cooking, they could come knock on my door. Can I have a plate? I smell you cooking chicken. Can I have a piece? It would be times where we gonna I would make my husband buy 2 or 3 extra packs of hot dogs just so we could feed the community kids. That's the kind of woman I am. It's not one person that's in charge of a kid.
But
It's a whole
Paige,
village.
Paige. Yeah,
Hmm.
Sticks is on, and she has something real quick that she wants to say.
What you say, babe?
Sticks, I was saying
oh, we
Sticks
can't
has
hear her.
something that she wants to say.
Hold on. Okay. Can y'all hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Oh yeah, I can hear you, Sid.
Okay. Something, and y'all may have talked about it. I don't know. I came in late, and forgive me. I'm very tired. So if I sound tired, it's because I am. Something that we don't take into account as far as these children and even adults who grow up and become addicts is a lot of these children start out as addicts as children. And I hate to say it like that,
Mm.
but I deal with children and young adults, sometimes up to age 23, who start out and they're diagnosed with ADD and these sorts of things. So they're on drugs. And I have a student who's now in second grade. He's now developed a tic that he never had. He shrugs his shoulders all day. He can't be still. And the sad thing about this student is his dad has already told me that he was an addict. The mom is clearly, she's on some type of prescription drug. So this child is already predisposed to being an addict. So
Mm.
when these children are that, so when these children are that young and they've been on some type of drugs their entire life, what do you think happens when they become an adult and then they have to cope in the world?
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
They stay, they then start trying to find a drug.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And it happens all the time.
Yep. It does. It does.
Because more so than not, a lot of kids are diagnosed with ADHD and are put on these meds because they said they are hyperactive and all
Right.
these things. So, like you said, yeah, when they can't cope, when real life happens, they will go and find that same fix that they was getting from the meds they were given as a child and find something to compensate for that med that they was given.
Right. Yeah. So a lot of time it starts out as children who are very young. And I just wanted to make that point. And I'm getting off of here, guys. I'm tired. Have a good night. I'm
All,
going back to bed.
You
all
too,
right.
Sid.
Thank you,
Go
Steve,
ahead.
for joining us. Have a wonderful evening.
Okay. Well, I'm going down in the chat.
Okay, then.
Okay, babe.
All right. Thank you.
Mukbang said predisposed when that drug links back up with the system that it was in as a child. It's like magic has happened. They be instantly chasing and addicted. It's familiar.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Reconnected.
Yep.
And and not to mention that a lot of our children diagnosed with ADHD because of the inability to effectively teach and control the classroom. You have a lot of young teachers sometimes who haven't experienced life. Like I love when my kids get an old teacher. They're usually my favorite because
And see,
um they have
and see, that's whenever the parent need to step in and be an advocate for me, their child, because I'm not gonna let you just throw my child on some medication because he can't sit still or something. What is it that we can do? Maybe he or she may be bored. You know,
Right.
because that's the first thing that they want to do as soon as the child cannot sit still or or maybe falling behind a little bit. Oh yeah, well they ADHD or ADD. Let's just throw them on some medication and throw them off to the side. And it just goes back to what Stiggs and Mukbang was saying. Then that's where I'll start off as because you start these kids off medicating them and pumping them drugs into them.
Right.
because you want
Mukbang
a class
actually
full of
didn't
zombies
mind.
instead of
Huh?
in work.
Mukbang
You
actually
want to
want the link.
Okay, she wants the link. Okay, let me drop it in the
Yeah.
chat.
She said she'll come up.
Thank you, Mukbang. There she go. I'm gonna add her to the stream. Welcome,
you
Mukbang.
want a class
Hey, everybody.
Hey,
full
Mom.
of also what we fail to realize is we created a issue with the computer and the technology to the point where the children's brains are firing so fast that it's difficult to maintain attention because the children are used to instant gratification and they can't slow their brain down because they're so accustomed to playing video games or being being in the I guess
Yeah.
um they're
Oh,
accustomed to
huh.
being so heavily stimulated.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, Mukbang. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Absolutely. Can you guys hear me okay?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, ma'am. We can.
Um, yeah, so like I was just saying, it's I know I had like neither one of my parents never did drugs or anything like that, and drugs have never been my thing. But a lot of my family members have been addicted to drugs, and their parents were on drugs. So some of my family members that I'm close to, they will always look at me a certain way or judge me because I was the one that wasn't on drugs. And then once they got clean and stuff like that, they will be like, well, you're lucky, you're blessed because you didn't have that as a part of your makeup with your parents or your grandparents or whatever, like we did. We grew up with our parents, getting high in the house and all that kind of stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So, but then you also do have a fraction of people that their parents, are on drugs and stuff like that, and they never touch drugs.
Yeah.
Now, as far as like me, my my children's father, he was on drugs. And one of my kids, started like, with marijuana and stuff like that. And I know marijuana is, it's all accepted and stuff like that today. It's legal in a lot of states and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But when you see these kids chasing marijuana like it's crack,
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
it's scary.
It is.
So, and I would always try to tell my daughter, like, you have to watch that. You have to be careful because your father was on drugs. You know what I'm saying? He's deceased now,
Mm-hmm.
but he was on drugs and he was on heavy drugs. He was on heroin. So she's already has a predisposition to it, which frightens me. She suffers with mental illness, which also frightens me. So I'm constantly always praying for her and things like that. And she's
Yeah.
grown. She's going to make her own choices, but I have always tried to educate her as I did all of my kids from a very young age or whatever. And the good thing is that her mental health is good right now.
Mm-hmm.
She's
That's good.
doing what she needs to do as far as that. She does therapy, she takes
Mm-hmm.
her medication, stuff like that. But every now and then it's like, oh, she like, I just want to get high, I just want to get high. And I'm like, but you're not, you can't be that person that just recreationally smoke every now and then. You want to keep doing it and chasing and chasing and chasing.
Mm-hmm.
Something, you got to draw the line somewhere.
Is
Right.
that
Yeah. So that's kind of what I wanted to say about the conversation. And living here in Baltimore, Paige, like we see so many um young kids that are on like all the pills and stuff now.
Mm-hmm.
They look like zombies. Like it's frightening.
It's
It's
scary as
really
Mhm.
hell.
It is
yes.
frightening. It
You
is
have
frightening.
y'all have to see them for yourself.
I
That
am
is,
afraid of them. I'm
oh my
literally afraid
God.
of them.
When I tell y'all, it is scary. They are really out of tune with reality.
Mm-hmm.
I saw one literally go and knock out a whole plexiglass window. Or
Wow.
just the strength of breaking down an entire door, things like that. That's the type of strength they gain from using these drugs.
Mm-hmm.
Unbelievable.
It's
Mm-hmm.
very scary.
Mm-hmm.
It's very
Yeah.
scary. And like Mukbang said, it's an underlying, not only being predisposed if your parents dealt with addiction, and it don't even have to be the parents, the grandparents, whoever was have a drug addiction, which is a spirit.
Yeah, it
Have
Yes.
is.
that
It
type of
Yes.
is.
Yes,
Because
it is.
both of my parents, they were
yeah,
alcoholics. So I
yeah.
know that, I mean, I cannot indulge in it because, I mean, once I start, there is a chance that, I mean, I could become one as well.
Mm-hmm. And like we spoke about earlier, it's not even just an addiction to drugs or alcohol. You find an addiction somewhere because of you being exposed to it through your parents, whether
Yes.
it's shopping, eating, whatever it is. You see
Gambling.
those addictive characteristics, those addictive traits. And that thing will
Hmm.
overtake you if you don't realize it and chin check it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So it's really bad, y'all. To see those
It really
kids,
is.
oh, to see them, and then I'm telling, some of them never return back. They never return back, and
Mm-hmm.
you have on top of that, so it's underlying, it's the addiction, and then it's the underlying mental health. It's
Yeah.
the underlying diagnoses that's not being chin checked if you don't know,
Mm-hmm.
because not all symptoms are the same. Not two bipolars are the same. Not two schizophrenic patients are the same. So you really don't know. You can't say, oh, I saw this in them, and no, it's not something that you can see. Not everybody displays the behaviors outwardly. A lot
Right.
of people have a lot of stuff going on the inside of them that we can't see, and that's why they result to self-medication.
Yep.
Race
Miss
car.
Sarah have just joined the chat. I think she has a personal story that she would like to share with us.
Okay.
Race car?
Am I here?
Yes, we hear you.
Hey everybody.
Hey,
Hey,
Ray.
All of
Car.
look, all of my stories all of my stories are personal stories. They're all are tragic. But it is what it is. Like I said, my son, he came in one day from school. He had been acting weird as hell. He had been stealing from us actually. I'ma just let y'all know I do smoke like a chimney. He had actually been stealing my weed. He stole my pipe. He stole all kind of my little stuff. So I honestly, to be perfectly honest, I went to him and said, "Hey, you don't have to steal from me. You're 17. We can be friends, son. And so I would sneak and honestly give him some stuff. To be honest, I did. So when I guess that wasn't enough or whatever, or he went ahead and kept doing whatever with his friends, he started missing from school. We started getting phone calls from school saying he was never there. My neighbors found him on his porch, bloodied up in the face, said he had brought him home, took my husband over there to get him off his porch. He had face was all beat in. He had been he skipped school that day and was hanging out with some dude he didn't even know. They had did drugs and he was drinking, and he said he don't even know what happened to him, but he think he hit his face when he was drunk coming home on the ground, while he was falling around up and down or whatever. He had gotten in so much trouble vandalizing people property, doing break-ins with friends and shit from it's horrible. So we was taking him to all kind of chloride, doing whatever I was supposed to do as a good parent and all of that kind of stuff. I was taking him to these drug classes every morning before school and before I had to go to work, before he had to go to school. They would drug testing him and everything because he got in so much trouble. It was just beyond me. And then he just snapped. He just came home and just said, I am done. I'm not listening to you. I'm not doing anything. He was drunk that day and he came in, he swung at my husband and straight up my husband did pop him. And I'm screaming and hollering like, no, 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 don't hit him, don't hit him. I'm telling you, I love this boy with everything in me. I always wanted a boy, y'all, and I had one. This boy, he just fucking went. I mean, whoops, he just went nuts. I swear over drugs. And when they did all the tests on him, they said he had some of everything in him. I can't even remember. It's been so long. But and he was my step kid. I had him ever since he was 10. He's not my bio, but he my damn boy. I had him since he was 10. He left at 17. He's 20 now. And my like I said, my daughter spent the holiday Christmas with her brother and her mom and all of that, and it was hell when she came back talking about, please look at the pictures, please care again, please. I'm like, please don't make me. She's like, you gotta look, you gotta look. And when I looked at him, I'm all effed up again, hard all like, oh, my boy, oh my God, my son. He still looks nice. He's not looking all messed up, but I know he goes off and on, off and on. I've seen him go off and on. It's to the point I've seen him in the street and avoided him like, I don't know what that is. That's not of me. But, my mother mad at me now because when I actually showed her the pictures because she still miss him and go crazy about him. And she asking me for his phone number. I'm like, why would I even open that up again? I'm like, what do I do with this? This is something I really don't even want to open back up again because I know how it's going to end. I don't want to love nothing and it cut my ass to pieces and then it want to play games with me because it know it can. I ain't that kind of girl. Y'all know that.
Yeah,
Next.
yeah. did you did you start off giving him the drug because giving him the weed because you
He
know
was because he was stealing it. He was 17. I don't know, like a dummy. I don't know. Maybe I was trying to be. And my husband used to always be mad, saying me and him was too much like friends. But I don't know. I don't know. I was doing it because he was stealing it. You don't have to steal from me. Talk to me. You don't have to do that. So I'm like, instead of you doing that, and I would just, like, he would go in his room. I'm like, oh, here, take a puff. Sneak in your room, take a puff. That was it. It wasn't like I was like giving him up a whole something, go away, you can do your thing. But I would like when I did it, I was like, here, take a puff. And it was around him. I did it. I still do it, damn it. Now what?
And I'm not judging you at all
no,
because
we are not here to judge at all.
because
Girl,
for
girl.
you as a mother, you felt like, well, if he's going to sneak and do it, or if he's going to, um, I might as well help. And you felt you were being a help to him, but please don't give up on your baby. Don't give up
It's
on your son.
baby.
Do not give up on your son.
Please, baby, shut up.
Please,
Please, baby, shut up.
please
Don't let
don't
me
give
though kick you.
No,
Uh-uh.
you
Uh-uh.
can't
I
give up
think I
on him.
already did, and now I think I already did, and now this my baby done brought me this picture of him, and I'm like, damn, I'm back again. I prefer to just let that be. I swear I do. God knows I do. And then my mama mad at me like, Rachel, how could you not want to do this? How could you just let it go? I'm like, it's been so many years. Why do I want to keep having my heart pulled out? What the hell? I'm for what? It ain't that serious to me. If you want to be grown and in the world, God made people as homeless. He made those people for some reason or another.
Yeah.
Everybody
Well,
have their own
we
mission,
can't give
and
up
you
on
always
him.
hear
We, you
it
know what I'm
ain't
saying?
about giving up. I don't think it's
Mhm.
giving up. It's just letting go. I don't think it's giving up. I believe it's just letting go. How about that? Is it just letting go? It's not giving up. I still love him. I just don't want it in my life. I love him from a distance.
Yeah.
And it's like your
Well,
mind is so
well,
your mind and your heart are in connection with each other to protect you,
It is
and
exactly.
Y'all
feeling
hang on one
too much.
second. Hang on one second. I hate to interrupt. Mr. Wise,
hmm?
what is that
Close
notice?
out one of the tabs. Close out the
Yeah.
tab.
Hey, I want to see the
Oh,
chat. See if y'all talking about me.
okay. No, no, no. I'm on the phone.
Okay, well, can you mute yourself till Mukbang finish? She making a very valid point. If you can mute, thank you.
Race car, what I was saying is that your mind and your heart, are working together in connection as a protection for you. Our minds and our hearts are basically intertwined. So
Exactly.
yeah, and if you feel too much at one time, it could really hurt you physically.
And
So
I don't
you
know it can. I have gone to. I mean, I know it has, Muckling. I've been to therapy over this. I cried over this for years. This ain't something that's just to me now. It's just settled in my spirit, you know. And like I
But it's
said,
really
this
not settled, I don't believe. I don't think you have given up on your
I
child. You're just at
have
a place where you just need to protect yourself. But
Hmm.
right.
I can feel you. I can feel your energy. And
Hmm.
you know, it's you gotta clear that up, sis.
Mm-mm.
B Charmer said something that's good. I don't know if y'all saw it, but she said just because one chooses to stop enabling does not mean they're giving up.
Right.
Right. I don't want to.
Yeah.
Right. That's why I said I don't feel like I'm giving up. I feel like
That is so
I'm
true.
just pulling back. I'm just letting him be. You know how you hear stories and little boys say, "I left when I was so and so age and I made it." I'm hoping he can be one of those cases. I'm not sure.
Yeah. And I mean, I can relate to so many of everyone's story because, I had to release my son. He started off with, what I'm saying, taking little stuff and then getting into trouble as a child. And then also, too, he went from smoking weed to, selling it or whatever. But I had to release him. I had to put him out. And I had to release him
Hmm.
because I love you, but I love myself enough to say that
Hmm.
no, I will not support what you do. Now,
Yeah.
Right.
it if he was to call me, just like he called me yesterday, I am there for him, 10 toes down. But I cannot support you in what you do.
That's right. Can I
I
say
get
something
that.
else too, y'all? Y'all hear me?
Yes,
We hear you.
yes, yes, we hear you.
And another thing happened too that I always wondered about. Honestly, he got a concussion when he was 14. And I swear he never was the same after that concussion, to be honest with y'all. He never was the same after that concussion. He always was a daredevil and doing crazy stuff, already a nut, just like me. And he was playing with some friends and he was so skinny, they were swinging him around and they swung him around and he fell into an actual wall
Mhm.
and he had a concussion and his face was all scratched all up. He was really messed up for like maybe 2 or 3 months. He didn't go to school and he was like in a baby state for the first month or so, like a little kid and everything. So I
Wow.
really know that had some impact on it as well. But they didn't give him drugs like to fix that. That was just a matter of time, a matter of time of him coming back to himself. So I can't blame drugs on that actual situation, but I could say that his mind was altered by the actual concussion.
Yeah.
That's Possible.
It,
So I
Certainly
can
possible.
say that
yeah.
I know it was because he was never the same after that. I'm telling y'all, this boy was my best friend. We talked about everything. I would tease him. I thought he was gonna be my little fairy boy because he would put on pink shirts and dance around in my mirror with me and kiss at himself because I told him he was cute and we was twins. For him not to be my bow son, we look like twins. Everybody thought he was my son, and I would tell him that he is my son. So yeah, but yeah, I still got so much love for him. I'm just turned off. And like I said, I'm one of those people. You do me, and it's hard for me to open back up. I don't care who you are, how close we are. My kids honestly know if they do something wrong to me, I'm the kind of parent I will eat you. I won't, I don't want the wolves to. I don't want to throw you to the wolves. I'll eat you. You mine. I'll eat you. That's the kind of Leo I am. I don't want nobody else to know that mine is out there all effed up because I gave them everything, everything. They rotten. They ain't nothing they don't have. And he had everything, but he blamed me when he was going through that because of his father. He blamed me because it was something with him and his dad. I guess I honestly never figured it out, but I was a part of the I enabled him, like, yeah, I think to a point, because he was my boy. I wanted him so bad. I always wanted a boy. And I just did anything I could for the boy. Snuck and did whatever he wanted. We did whatever. We held. He was my homie. And boy, it just all went bad. Just all went all the way bad. And he blamed me when he left because I was a part of his dad. I'm like, I even snuck when he first left. I'm like, if you need anything, I'll give you anything. I gave him money for the first few days. He wasn't even supposed to run away. He was just supposed to go over his grandmother's house for the weekend when he came in wanting to fight his dad. He was just supposed to go over his grandmother's house, and he never showed up. He just kept moving and went and found his bio mama, who's a damn pill head, and wanted to be with her. And I'm like, no, of all people, not her. But yeah, that's what he did. And now he in and out the streets. And like I said, he did look decent on the pictures, but I try not to look at it. I did for the first time, and I was like, ugh, I was so mad at myself. Like, why did you get sucked in? You shouldn't have looked at it. And my daughter was just killing me. Please look, please, please. You can love him. I'm like, shut up. I barely like your ass. I mean, whoops, I forgot
Yeah.
we on Candy.
So,
So,
so did you give him the weed before the concussion or after?
oh, Candy. It had to be after, way after. Like I said, that was when he was 14, when he had the concussion. He didn't start going crazy till when he was in high school, when he was 16 and 17. 17 is when it all went crazy. So
Did
that was when
he
he
have
was 17.
did he have like constant
Girl, he was a perfect student, everything until the concussion. Then he started, like I said, he missed those 3 months out of school. He started trying to play catch up. He got back in school, and the same boys who broke his head was the same ones he hung back with, and they was getting arrested for vandalizing people's property, for what do you call it when you breaking into going in, what do you call it when you in the people houses and nobody lives, squatting in
Mhm.
people's, and that kind of stuff. Just it's just off the chain stuff that you read about that don't happen to your own kid, and especially if they're a decent kid. So we start getting them counseling and taking them to classes and doing everything. I believe in that. So I
because
was just
because of the concussion and the injury to his head, did they ever diagnose him? Did he ever see a neurologist and diagnose him with a traumatic brain injury, a TBI?
nope, they didn't. They didn't. But we did take him to a neurologist, and yeah, they said he was fine. Everything, all tests and everything showed that he was fine after that period. But I know that, like initially, like I said, he was a baby again. When he came home, he would just speak like a baby. He was a baby at 14 again for a month at least. And then he just started slowly coming back into himself. He couldn't go to school for that 3 months after that concussion.
So So you think that, I mean, that injury had, like he
I think
traumatized by
after
that
I
injury?
think after the fact, and when he started experimenting with drugs, maybe it did something, brought something back, or did something, or maybe it just like they say, the first bad drug just take you out or make you crazy. Maybe that's what it was, you know. But I know back I just know he was messed up. Like maybe just saying F to the up.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
You
I got
played
all
through
kind of
that.
horror damn stories, like my sister and her legs. Like I said, I got all kind of stories. I swear, I could write a book on horror, and that's why I'm so turned off and closed off. It's not because I hate the world. It's because it's just too much. I don't like this heart feeling, and I'm just growing one. Like I told y'all, I'm just getting a heart, and I really don't appreciate it. I don't like feeling and being open to everything that's around me. I like my own world, just being in my own world, doing my own thing. And to me, it was comforting. Now, with an open heart, you every little thing hurts. You got to see the whole damn world for what it is, and it is awful out here. I've spoken to you, Candy, about like my job and stuff. The things I've seen on my job working with people, and I've cried to you about like I can't
Hmm.
believe the stuff that goes on in this world. In reality, I've been so closed off for so long, just living my own life because if it's something I don't care about, it's just not there in my head. That's just how I am. I just block everything out, and that's bad for me because I miss a lot. I miss a whole lot. And when I do step into reality, it's stunning. Things I see stun me like, oh my God, I didn't know this was real. This is only on TV. Oh my God. And I cry like a baby and be sick to my stomach and then feel like a goofball because I didn't know it was really real. And the things that we see on TV, it may not be the extent, but the stuff we see all around us, I don't care how crazy it is real. It's real. It's real. And we got to care about each other and do better by each other.
Hmm.
And it's weird, and it's honestly so weird coming from me. And if y'all knew anybody who knew me from my old self would be like, I cannot believe this is coming from you because you are not that person. But I've come to realize it's about giving back, and I'm trying to go to heaven. I thought I could get in on a buddy pass because of my granny and my mother, but they told me it don't work like that. So I'm trying to, do
No,
right.
it don't work like that.
I'm trying to do right. So it is what it
Well,
is.
in life life is one day at a time. Each new day
And
that we are able to open our eyes, we are given another chance to get it right.
that's
And
right.
so no one is perfect, but every day that God allows you to open your eyes and see another day, you get another chance to get it right.
Right. And I believe in that. And I know I pray. And the Lord knows my heart. I know some of the things I say seem real harsh and awful to other people, but I swear it's honestly how I feel. So I can't blame myself for how I feel. And I speak to the Lord about my true feelings. So it is what it is. I don't have those regrets and all that other stuff. Like when I'm turned off, I'm turned off. Now my switch is in the middle with this situation when it was turned off. My switch is in the middle with this situation with my boy picture all over a picture. Can you believe this? A picture all over a
Mhm.
picture. And I haven't seen him in so long. All I had was a memory. Nothing but a memory. And this girl come home after Christmas. Look, please, look, please. I'm like, ugh, don't make me.
Well,
But the
we're gonna
love
be in
never
prayer
left.
that God restore that relationship between you and your son, and get it back to where it was before.
Mhm.
It can happen.
Mm-hmm.
It can definitely happen. And
Mm-hmm.
that's why your switch is in the middle because the love never left.
Mhm.
The love is
I
always
don't think it
there.
ever will. I don't think right. I don't think it ever will because I want him too much. I wanted and I needed him. I always wanted him. I didn't have my own. I wanted him. So I don't think the love will be gone. But like I say, it is a protection mechanism. So I get it. I know.
Yeah.
And like I say, I'm learning, y'all. I'm learning because I'm just like I said, I'm just getting a heart. And it's just been a few years. All real talk. It's just been a few years. And I'm telling you, ooh wee. Ooh, like I said, sometimes, like Bambi, when we were talking in your chat about it, sometimes I prefer being numb than I have, I prefer being open. That's real. Being numb is just, you're just numb, you know? It just become a way of life. You don't have to go through all of that. Being open is a trip. You feel everything every day with everybody. You can't even watch.
Yeah.
Like I said, I can come in a chat, and hell, I can come in a good chat, and we come in Bambi's chat or something. I'll come in your chat, Candy. We come in giggling and wind up crying. You know, give me a break, y'all. I'm
Don't
just
put that
grateful
on
to
my
be
chat.
here. But I'm
Don't
like,
cry over here. We chill.
you know. So I'm just saying, y'all take me through so many changes.
Those are
Y'all make me have to
chains
take
being broken. Break them chains,
girl,
y'all.
Yes.
girls.
Mm-hmm.
I'm cool
Yeah.
with my chains. I like
Say
my
that
chains
again,
exposed.
Mukbang.
Yeah, say that again.
She talking about I'm cool with them chains. No, you not, sis. Them
Mm-mm.
Them
chains getting
chokers.
broke, baby.
Them is bracelets. Them ain't chains.
I can't.
Girl.
I
But
can't.
yeah, I swear, y'all. I'm telling you, I have lived a life. I swear. And everybody, when I talk to them, they're like, well, damn, you for real? I'm like, yeah, it is what it is. It ain't me. I didn't do it. You better blame somebody else. I'm just a part of it. I'm so turned off to it now. I just walk through. That's why I say every day people need to make a memory and enjoy life. Life is too short. You don't know what's happening tomorrow, the next 10 minutes. So y'all better make memories and enjoy every damn minute of the day.
Yep. And
It is too much going
y'all know
on.
my
I believe in
tagline.
that.
Y'all know my tagline. And
Girl, I have fun everywhere I can. And
life is short. You gotta make it sweet. Life is short.
that's the truth.
Make it
That's the
sweet.
truth. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
my
It is
sister was
so
35. Yep.
I can see how she feel. That's how I was just telling somebody. I said, you know what? It's almost it grieves me when I feel like I can't fix every problem. You
Hmm.
know,
Mm-hmm.
because we were speaking about my life from earlier, and it really do grieves me to the point that you want to be heartless sometimes because you feel so much, and I
Yep.
hate
That's how
feeling
it is
so much
now.
when I can't do anything about it. It hurts.
That's what it is. It hurt bad, bad.
Mm-hmm.
And even simple things, even small things, right? And that's what it is. I don't like that pain. When I was numb, I didn't have all this pain. I didn't have all of these tears. God is my witness. I used to have to think of my grandfather, and this going y'all please don't think I'm messed up. But I used to have to think of my grandfather in the casket, and he had the same brown lipstick I was wearing at his funeral. And I know he would have been mad as hell. So I would think of that scene to make myself cry when I needed to cry. Like, damn, he would be so pissed off if he knew he had this brown lipstick on. And then I would think of that to make myself bring a tear to myself. I would have to think of something really that hurt me deep, like that to bring a tear. I can't just cry when I'm crying. But now, hell, I cry like twice a week now. It's horrible. And people
Don't
be
blame it
cracking
on
up
my
like,
shit.
girl,
Yeah, and
especially
that's
you,
why I
especially
cry
you.
all the time. I always say
Mm-hmm.
I'm a big crybaby, and like everybody always saying you're a crybaby, but I spent so many years not crying. I would never
Mm,
Is that
cry.
what it is? Is that what it
Yeah,
is? That's
I
why I
would
cry
never
everything.
cry, and
mm.
it's
Damn, because
now that
all
I
the
feel
time.
that. Yeah, now that I allow myself to feel that, I
Mm-hmm.
cry all the time. It's a relief for
What
me.
I do? Girl, I don't know what it is yet. I guess like I said, I'm still learning this thing, and I'm woo wee. I know I look at myself like you are such a big baby now. And my husband say, yeah, you used to be a lion, now you're a lamb. I hate him so much when he say that. I be wanting to stab him in his sleep. But I say, no, I'm still a lion. I'm still a lion. I'm not a lamb. I'm still a lion. I'm still the queen of the jungle.
But all those years feeling numb,
Mm-hmm.
that's not normal. I'm saying we do that, we become like that,
Hmm.
but God didn't design us to be like that.
Mm.
So
I agree. I agree.
now that you are out of that state of numbness and you are feeling everything, it just seems like it's magnified to the 10th power. But This is
Oh
stored
yeah.
up release that you got up in you. It got to
Mhm.
come out.
Yep,
Mm.
they do. They do.
I believe that. I believe that because it when it happened, it made me apologize to so many people I had wronged. I don't know when I turned a new leaf, it was crazy, y'all. I found people who I knew I had did wrong to just because I knew I could, and apologized to everybody, cried to everybody, prayed with everybody. They like, no, that's not coming from you. You was the devil, and I'm like, I know, but it's over with now. That wasn't me. I was just hurt. And that's why, Paige, when you say that time that hurt people need to heal people, and that's the route I'm on now. But first, I gotta continue to heal myself or be healed myself.
I'm
Hey, little
happy for
ugly
you and
dude.
the journey that you are on. I'm really happy for you.
Yes.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, it really is.
Yeah, I am
And I,
so.
and I think, and I'm, you know what, and I appreciate it so much. And I thank God so much. I swear I do. I'm like, Lord, I really appreciate this because I'm one of the people who thought I had it all. My mama worked for HUD. My daddy worked for General Motors. We ain't never had no money issues. I ain't never needed or wanted nothing. When I was grown, I dealt with dudes who had something and took care of me. I ain't never had to do nothing. I don't know the price of cars and stuff like normal people know. I don't know the value of houses and stuff like that because somebody always did something for me. I ain't got to do nothing. Right now, I work part time because I was a housewife for 5 years. So I'm to be out among people again. And after being closed up in my bubble for so long, it's eye opening. The world is so eye opening to me at this point. And it's scary and it's weird and I don't like it and I wish I can go back in my bubble, but I got kids out here now who I gotta protect and get and know what's going on in the world. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I have to be out here to know what's going on for them, and I don't want my daughter antisocial. My kids and my youngest is 17. I don't want her antisocial because I'm closed down. You know. I want her to be able to be a productive part of society, not just because I'm like, people suck.
You can't go back now. You in too deep.
Yeah.
I know that's I know
Ooh,
that's what I'm saying.
I
I have
like
to do
that.
right by her. And I know it's right and I'm gonna continue to do right. And like I said, the Lord just gonna keep walking me through day by day and I'm just gonna take it day by day.
Yep.
Amen.
And that's all you can do is take it day by day. Each day, just like I said earlier, each day that we wake up, it's a new day to
Yeah.
get it right and and that's all that we have is day by day because you know,
Sometimes that change got to come second by second.
and that is so true. Second by second, that's what I was about to say. Second by second, because that's
Hmm.
all that I mean we have is
Mhm.
borrowed time.
Yeah. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually proud of me. I really am because I know I have come a long way. I was that typical mean girl, y'all. I swear. I was a typical girl who would go out of her way and just do some crap just because I knew I could. And I would bully people to a sense. They would do what had them do because I felt like if they that weak minded to listen to me, that's what they get. Because if I ain't doing it, you that damn stupid that you want to do it, go right ahead. But now I'm like, no, that was wrong of me. And the other day I saw a message and it scared me so bad that it was something on YouTube and it was some young guy was talking and he said he had a message from God and God said that he wasn't going to judge you for just the sin that you did. He was going to judge you for the sin that you put out on others as well. Like if I post something bad and all the people that took that in and got that post and read and absorbed that, then I'm messed up for they sin. I'm in trouble for that sin too because I passed that to them.
The
So I
blood
have
is
been
on your
passing
the blood is on your hands, and that's
on
how
my
I
hands.
feel.
I have been passing out so much dirt, confusion, and chaos that I have to be a vessel for the Lord to do right. I feel like
Hmm.
that's my job. I have to be redeemed and for my own self, not for nobody else. I have to feel better in my spirit about the things that
Hmm.
I've done in my past.
And
And
that's
I'm doing that.
and that's how I feel about my
Mm-hmm.
platform. It's like I want to, people don't have to subscribe to us. People don't have to support us. They really don't have to. But
Right.
if they have found you, they found you.
And my yeah.
You are
And like
responsible for
my
whatever you allow to come off of your platform.
And that's what I'm saying, Bambi. My channel has grown very, very slow, and I don't mind it at all because I'm not very diligent on it. I do it when I feel it. When I feel like doing it, I do it. But the stuff I put on there is stuff that I feel from other people. A lot of people assume it's coming from me, but I feel, like I said, with this heart, it's amazing just sitting in a room with the stuff I absorb from sitting in a room with people, just sitting next to people, speaking to them and stuff. And next thing I know, I'm writing it down and I'm sitting up crying because this is somebody's life. It's crazy. It's crazy. And I'm saying all along, this could have been my mission all along. I'm supposed to be a spokesperson. I'm supposed to speak. I'm not supposed to be dogging people and downing people. Who am I? I'm nobody. You know, I'm supposed to be uplifting people and bringing them the word and letting them know how good they are, how God loves them and they appreciate it, and how I love them. And I've been kicking so much dirt. Girl, please, I owe the world.
And that's the reason why I push you every day,
I know,
go
I
live,
know.
go live.
But I
Um,
never feel like I have nothing to say.
well, I told you, if you hit that live button, I'll be right there.
Yeah.
And I have told you plenty of times, it's so many times, and that's another reason why I don't go live, because sometimes I feel stuck, like I don't have anything to share or anything to say. But some kind of way, every time I hit that live button, God always sends me a topic or always send me a message or something is said in the chat to whereas I can expand upon that. It's always something that needs to be shared. Your poems are beautiful, you know.
I believe that too, Candy. You know why? Because when we were speaking earlier in Bambi's chat, when we were speaking in Bambi's chat, the stuff I was telling y'all about my sister, I ain't never said that out loud. For me to type it, I think it felt good. I don't really know, but I don't know if I could have said it out loud. But it felt good writing it to tell somebody that's how I felt. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
but because I got a lot of hurt that I have maxed for years with a wall, a whole lot, a max with a
You got a
wall.
story to tell. That's something to talk about. You know, share whatever you feel comfortable with sharing, but you have something to, talk about. You know, that's something in
Yeah,
itself.
yeah.
Yeah, and just to piggyback off of what Candy was just saying, I was listening to you, Race Car, when you said you feel like you don't have anything to say. Um, you have touched all of us, I think, that are on this panel and down
Yeah.
in the chat with the things that you have said
Mm.
just in this live stream. You know, you have
But I don't
something to
want
say.
people to
You
think
have
I'm
a voice.
crazy.
What you
I
say?
don't want people. I don't. But you know what? I feel like people think I'm crazy when I tell them that how turned off I am. I feel like they're like, "Damn, how can somebody be this turned off?" But like I said, I'm open. I'm open now. But I was turned off for so long that I want to revert back to it, but I can't get back. You can't go back. It's impossible. I actually tried. You can't. Once it's open, once this heart thing start coming alive, it's alive forever, I guess.
And you really can't get caught up in what people are going to think about what you say or how people are going to look at you, because it's somebody that's going to connect with what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it's one person in your chat, or it's somebody that's going to connect with it. um
Man,
I Yeah, you can't worry about what people think or what people say, and it's nothing that you can do to change people's opinions. That's always going to be there.
I agree, and I
Just
really
got
don't
to
even,
be you.
yeah. And that's what I really go by. I do me anyway. So yeah, but I'm trying to do people. I'm trying to be not just do me like somebody's not say that. I don't want it to do me. I'm trying to do people. Let
Stiggs
me
have a
say that.
question for you, Race Car.
Sticks, don't do me bad, please.
She said, when you say turned off, do you mean numb?
Yes.
You saw her video about that numbness. Did you see Stig's video about that numbness?
Uh, when Stick started talking about that, I ran away.
Sticks, drop your link to that video in the chat.
I still run away from some things, y'all.
There you go. You see what she said? That's perseveration that you have going on.
Am I supposed to be able to see the chat?
You have to see that video. Sticks is
No.
going to drop the link in the chat.
Okay.
But it's a really good video.
I'll watch it, Sticks, because when I went in there, I didn't say nothing. Then I left when I saw what she was talking about because it was too close to home.
This was good, yo.
Yeah, this was a good
What is
live.
it?
We
What is it?
Go
we
ahead.
starting 2020 off good. I'm looking forward to more, collabs and more
Because I'm
discussion.
telling y'all, seriously, I need to get a lot out.
This was awesome. And I was sitting at the table earlier, and so many times I say I'm gonna go live and I don't. And Race Car and Page, they can attest to that. I'll be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go live,
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. But I mean I don't. And I was sitting at the table and I had told Bambi that I was gonna go live, and I had told her about the topic that I wanted to talk about. And so she said, okay. And so I was sitting at the table and I was not going to go live.
You thought
I
I
happened
forgot.
to look down at my phone and Bambi,
And it's usually my time zone. It's usually my time zone is why I'm
Bambi
always the last
snatched
one.
me. Bambi snatched me. She said, what time you going live? And so a part of me wanted to say, no, not tonight. I
Look,
said,
Kandy,
you
I
know
gotta
what?
be honest though, because guess who snatched me all by the back of my goddamn cuckabugs?
Speak
Mukbang.
on it.
Mukbang.
I'm happy y'all did. I can say that. I'm happy we did go
Thank
live.
you, Mukbang, for
Mukbang say,
snatching
"Aren't you
Bambi.
going live? Ain't you going
Snatching me.
live? What time you going live, Bambi?"
But yeah, I
Thank you,
do. I got
Mukbang,
something else, y'all.
for the
I
snack.
do want to.
Because I would say I'm gonna go live and I do not, but I am truly thankful I did go ahead and go live. We started off talking about one topic, Nick Gordon. He passed away yesterday at the age of 30 of alleged drug overdose, and then we just led on into drug usage and other things. And I am truly thankful for everyone who has joined on the panel tonight. Thank you, Mukbangs and things, for joining me. I am truly honored to have you here with me tonight. Thank you, Bambi, Race Car, Derek, Mr. Wise, Sticks Girl, Paige, everyone that was in the chat. Thank you so much. I count it as an honor because y'all could have been anywhere on YouTube, but you decided to join me, and I consider that an honor.
Thanks for
I
having me.
appreciate it. Yeah, I appreciate you having me as
I
well.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
And I also want to say to the chat and everybody, I want to say, yeah, thanks for y'all prayers and everything for my son. And yeah, pray for me too, because I do love him. I do want to be with him, I guess. Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. Don't be
Girl,
guessing.
we
I do.
know. We ain't paying you no more when
Shut
you
up.
said
So, but he still make me sick. I still want to have that wall. I don't know how to not protect myself, y'all. That's all I'm saying. I just don't know how to protect myself.
let God do that.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't have to do it alone.
Yeah.
I know,
So,
because I ain't. Yeah.
mhm. So if all hearts and minds are clear, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up and end this. Like I said, I thank you so much for joining me tonight. Remember, life is short. Make it sweet.
Like it's
I want everyone to have a wonderful night. 2020, we are looking for nothing but greatness. All right. Y'all take care.
Have a
Thank
good night, everybody.
Be blessed.
Be blessed.
Good night. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.